Okay, I figure I'll do a part 2 here, just continuing on this general political subject. I was talking about cigarette taxes when I left off, and this was a curiosity. I found out that stupid SUPs, or whatever the fuck it is, that damn child health care bullshit, the Democrats, the plan was to pay for it with another increase in cigarette taxes. And, I'm paying $3,000 a year in cigarette taxes. $3,000 fucking dollars a year. I don't own a house, I don't own property, but I gotta pay $3,000 in a year to smoke cigarettes in my own motherfucking house. In goddamn motherfucking America. And that is disgusting. And the fact that Ron Paul said nothing about it is pretty irritating. I mean, libertarian can't even say anything like, well, that's unconstitutional. Because it is, but the federal courts, the state court, they're all afraid to deal with the issue. You can't raise it in a court. I mean, I've tried, but you can't do it. They won't deal with the constitutional issues. They won't deal with the legal precedent that exists, the same legal precedent that made it, that forced the alcohol prohibitionist to go with a constitutional amendment. They didn't use the tax code and just raise the taxes on alcohol to prohibit alcohol, because it was unfucking constitutional to do that. Okay, and somehow all of a sudden now it's constitutional. So I don't know why they aren't attacking abortion and all the rest of this crap with the tax code, because apparently they have the legal precedent now to do it, because nobody can stop it. But they really don't have the legal precedent, and that's why it doesn't happen. But, because they haven't officially overturned anything, because they won't officially look at the goddamn cases. They just throw them in the wastebasket. Because we have fucking federal courts that are worth nothing, and the state courts are worth nothing. These fucking lawyers. I mean, Jesus Christ. Well, anyway, so getting back to the drug issue and Ron Paul. Right, he calls drugs a disease. That's how he terms it. And he could just say simply, if he was an advocate for I mean, he uses, how many blacks are in prison. He uses these issues, and I think, it's just baiting. It's just such a fraud, because all these politicians play this game. I mean, they have these different groups that they try to appeal to. And this is the Republican game. They're usually socially conservative and economically conservative, and so Ron Paul is breaking that mold, but he's breaking it in this stupid, ugly way where he's combining, loose cannon social policy with loose cannon economic policy. And when we just want the loose cannon social policy and fuck the economic part. I mean, I could go for it, but see, that's the part. It's his social policy loose cannonness is the fraud part. He doesn't support gay marriage. He just doesn't support. He opposes a federal intervention. So he's all comfortable with the states keeping the laws exactly as they are. And on drug policy, it's the same lie. He's just playing a word game. He does not support your right to use drugs. He just doesn't support a federal initiative against drugs. And so the initiative would be a bunch of state initiatives, and so drug prices might go down because, yes, the federal government won't be out there spraying and doing all the other crap it does to interfere with the flow of drugs. But by the same token, the states can make the penalty for using drugs higher, and so the cost to benefit would be negligible, and it would definitely, the states would be focusing their attention on consumers and not producers maybe, and so then consumers will be the one really paying the price, because they're the ones that are going to be going to jail. So anyway, and if I was, let's say you were running and you were in support, and you recognize that there might be 1 million people in jail for a bogus reason, well, why won't you just run the platform and say, look, when I'm president of the United States, if the Congress doesn't do what I say when it comes to abolishing these fucking laws, I'm going to start pardoning 100,000 of prisoners a month. That's simple. Because the president has the power to do that. If he thinks people have been convicted falsely and wrongly, he can change that by executive demand. And the federal courts are going to go along with it because that's been the legal precedent. So the president does have a lot of power. And if Ron Paul really was for drug liberalization of the laws, why wouldn't he say that? Why wouldn't he say, I'm going to start pardoning nonviolent criminals in jail for drug offenses? But he doesn't say it, does he? No. Because that's not what he's for. It's that simple. He's playing the game. He's sucking in as many people as he can. He's buying votes with lies and deceptions. And so let's get back to the abortion thing, because that's an important one. Like I said, you can't. There's been lots of comments, and then they say these stupid things. Well, what if a woman, stabbed her baby to death one day before it was born? Well, yeah, it's her fucking right. That's right. It's her private fucking property. And if she wants to view that thing growing in her as a parasite, that's her fucking goddamn right. And until the only person who can argue against me on this fucking issue is somebody way to the left of me in terms of animal rights. Somebody who's going to make the argument that, not only should we be, the only person has to be one of those people that doesn't even squash a bug. Because there's nothing intellectually, the only way you can contrive an excuse to have sympathy or empathy for an unborn baby is to be religious in your perception. It is a fairy tale, a fantasy, a falsehood, a fake. It's bullshit. Because it just isn't there. The distinctions between an unborn kitten and a human being, or an unborn whale and a human being, unborn human being, there aren't any. Intellectually, it's the same fucking organism. A human being takes a while to develop once it's outside of the goddamn woman. But the key point is once it's outside of the woman has no right to abuse it anymore. And we, the people, we as the civilized people, have a right to protect it then, because she has no interest that can override our right to protect it. We can legislate once it's outside of her fucking body. But once it's inside of it, it's her goddamn property. If there's anything that's your property, it's your goddamn body. And I certainly know, as a male who can't get pregnant, but I certainly know if I could get fucking goddamn pregnant, I'd be damn pissed off if you fuckers were going to sit there and tell me that my fucking body is your business. Fuck you. So fuck Ron Paul. Fuck you atheists who are going to vote for this fucking Christian bastard. You'll sit there and rant and rave about Christians and this and all this bullshit, all this fucking rhetoric, and when push comes to shove, it doesn't mean a goddamn thing, because if you can put $10 in your goddamn pocket, you'll kiss his ass. And that's all you're doing, because he's for something I want. He's going to give me a tax break, or he's going to let daddy give me $500 billion, or whatever your bullshit dream is. I don't even understand you assholes. how many of you assholes are going to inherit more than $10 million? If there was a federal limit on inheritance at $10 million, how exactly would that be draconian? Because, I'll give you an example. In this town, we have half the acreage of the town is categorized as what's called a tree farm. Now, trees never been harvested on any of these tree farms. Not one fucking tree has ever been harvested, but they're called tree farms. And you want to know why they're called tree farms? Because they pay $1 in property tax on the tree farm. And so these rich jackasses get to own big hunks of land, and they don't pay any property taxes on it, $1. So isn't that a bargain? See, because they can just hold the land then. They're not paying any penalty for holding the land, so they can hold it generation after generation after generation because they aren't paying any price for it. And if you just eliminated that, if you did charge them a property tax, well, then all of a sudden the land value would go down. And people could buy the land, and they could put a house on it, and they could actually live on the fucking land. But they can't do that because like I said, the land is locked. It's locked in possession of people who are locking it away like it's a piece of gold, and that they can put in a vault somewhere. And that's you know, that's what your fucking philosophy leads to. Land barons and ultimately monarchy. And so that's part of this whole issue anyway, this whole debate. I mean, most of you people are anarchists. You're not libertarians. And more directly, I'd say you're segregationists. You want to segregate America. And you want a bunch of, you know, individual colonies, or whatever you want to call it, and they'll all have their own fucking diversity, and they'll be fighting with each other every fucking goddamn day, and they'll be hating each other's guts. And it's just, you're just going to destroy the value of this country. There will be no, you can't have it both ways. You can't sit there and have states' rights and then retain a union. It's just not going to happen. Man, out of time again.